day of typing it means years. All right, cool. All right, guys. Today Eric just wrote about basically the remainder of the year and a couple different scenarios. What could happen? He mentioned obviously containing Abu Dhabi, which I mean, as of this morning, the banks are already restructuring. I think 26 billion, I believe they said for them. And they a couple snippets coming out that the rest of it is stable. You know, mutual funds, a lot of them book profits already. They could be on the sidelines for a little while. The focus is already on next year. You know, either the first and second quarter already. That's what they're looking for. He basically mentioned, Eric basically mentioned that he believes it's like close to a, what, 70% chance we're stuck kind of in the range.
And we don't do much of anything.
Yeah.
We have a day like yesterday.
But don't be surprised, you know, if you get small little frenzies on light volume. Basically try to react to the market and what it gives you. Don't try to push it and assume something's going to happen. Let it come to you. Focus again, gold, dollar, Asia, of the European banks exposed to Abu Dhabi, they're saying they're stable. We kind of shrugged that off a few days. We shrugged off what seemed to be a huge financial mess. You want to say anything about that?
No, I think you pretty much got it.
The market's strong this morning. Asia up 2%, Europe up 1%. Oil up. The thing to watch with oil is the little blip on Iran yesterday that you saw the, what time was it, 2?
2 right before the oil closed.
Yeah.
20
say
or so.
2-ish. A little blip about Iran. You saw oil spiked. I believe somebody even wrote, maybe Rob even wrote on the chat room, what's the news in oil? Well, and then next thing you know, we have a little news flash about Iran. And meanwhile, gold's pushing 1,200. Someone was just on TV saying it's going to 1,800. Doesn't see a reason why it can go down. Who knows? What else? Rob, you want to say anything?
Yeah, it's interesting too because now we've got natural gas backing off again, and so we've got, you know, it's going to be tough. We're going to open strong here. If we are going to weaken, you know, some energy names that would be more heavily exposed to natural gas, stuff like your ABC, your APA, and your HK, stuff like that on the downside. It's still going to be tricky on the opening, just to see how strong they can maintain. I'm sure we'll find out fairly quickly. What I've mainly been focusing on here is tech. And I wrote about it, and I've talked about it a few times, but I want to reiterate that there's been a real tightening of the range in the semiconductors. And so they're looking to break one or the other, and so far we're still on a bull trend. So overnight, or yesterday, we saw hammers in certain tech names like SanDisk, that's SNDK, Cymer, CYMI, Fiserv, FISV, and Red Hat, RHT. Also, I wrote about Intel being pretty much right in the middle of its range, and I'm looking at stuff like AMAT and KLA-10 core, KLA-C, which are actually at the lower end of their ranges still. So if we are to break to the upside, those would have further to go. Other than that, retail has been weak, but now we've got GES coming out with earnings, so maybe that'll bolster some of those. But those have been, that has been a weak group over the last 3 days. So you know, if we do start to weaken, that's where I'm going to be looking again. And last, with financials, they've been weak and then trying to come back and doing something yesterday. And I continue to look at PNC when I look for strength in financials because it's been by far the strongest. And if you can pinpoint the leaders of the groups that we're watching, be it up on the upside or the downside, sometimes that helps you to look for the right setup. And if the market's going higher and there's a setup in the leader of the group, that's where you want to go. At least that's the first stock you want to look at and see if there is a setup.
We don't have.
You've got more behind you.
Frank. All right, Eric, you want to say anything?
Just a few things to watch today. AAG has bounced very sharply from yesterday's declines. It got $25 billion shaved off overnight from the feds.
And
LST, the darling a couple of weeks ago, there's a patent lawsuit against it. It's down about 75 cents right now. It's not shortable, AAG is, but NLSD could actually bounce even from here. It was lower than where it was, so just keep your eye on that. Seed, which is also not shortable, is trading higher once again. Yes, GES, Rob noted this morning, it's up on very, very good earnings. It's actually high in the morning right now. PLX is down by 80 cents. It formed some sort of collaboration with Pfizer. It actually was trading a lot higher earlier this morning. It's negative now. Overall, though, it's like I said, it's going to be just like yesterday. It's going to be very thin overall. You've got to pick your spots. And there's going to be just increasingly slowing news flow, both in the macro and the micro.
Guys, on the chat room, there's another room in the black, which was set up for Rob Smith. We'll eventually develop it into something. I don't know what you want to do there right now, Rob. Did you want to just maybe use that to post some of your ideas during the day, or questions people
have? One of the things I wanted to do is make sure that the equities room here at Epiphany is focused on the setups and the Epiphany method, and anything else that we might be looking at, or just overall technical stuff that needs to be addressed real time, as opposed to at Capital Markets Forum, or it might be a daily or a weekly question, something like that. Something we can get to quicker, without blocking up the room too much.
All right. Well, I mean, also, guys, if a lot of these, you hear a lot of comments from, mostly from retail brokers about a Christmas trade and all this stuff, and they're gonna look at things like eBay and obviously Amazon trading at its highs, and they'll look at things like Fuki. They're not necessarily day trades, but they might pan out. It might be worth putting some time and effort into some charts and stocks like that, and coming up with an idea. What happened to AIG?
AIG's coming off.
KIG just broke 30. It did before and then bounced back up. It just came back through $30.
It had a low of $29.90 earlier.
It just seems though with the
went $29.90 offer.
With the upside, bias of this market right now in general, it just seems to be a tougher trade than say it was yesterday. So just be careful with that. Anyone else want to say anything? What we got? Saints beat New England last night.
Bruce is Frank there, Bruce?
And guys, just concentrate on, like, if you're watching oil, concentrate news coming out of Iran. If you see spikes in it, something like that could happen. Anything else, Eric? No. All right, guys, good luck.
Ready to rock and roll. That makes